pull right here, boom, and then I talk about that. Make it nice and simple. Yeah. So this is great. What a hall. I didn't expect it to be such a big hall.
I hope we have a few people.
Oh, good.
I hope it's, partially full at least. I don't think yours is full, but
That's good.
maybe
That's
we'll
good.
see.
Yeah, I mean, it's so wild, I rarely do I come out of my Bronx roots. So I feel like I'm a little animal that the two of you brought from the Bronx and planted right here in the audience spaces. So
You go into Manhattan. I've seen you.
every once in a while,
I've seen you in Manhattan.
every once in a while I sneak out and I go in. It'll be fine. But I have this PowerPoint presentation that I can just speak from. As I see the pictures, I'll talk about like what they are. And if anyone has any questions, then they can just ask me. I mean, the only problem is the Spanish speaking part. People are okay with that, I was told that they seem to be okay with it. So.
Whatever. You shouldn't be speaking. You'd have to
Hello, everybody. How you doing? I guess I should use this, right? It's best. Forgive me, I don't speak Spanish, so thank you so much for enduring a New Yorican. No, a New York Rican. See, it is actually a term that I created, and I think Ramon Rivera Severa put it in his book, or it was Lawrence LaFontaine Stokes, one of those two, who recognized what it is that I was talking about, which is a Puerto Rican who's born in New York and is estranged from their language and their culture. And so that's the position that I'm in my life. And I struggle with that. I struggle greatly with that. And but there's this group of people out there who usually are on the incredibly conservative side of the Latino culture. So I don't want to consider myself one of them. Sorry. I want to be able to be open to my culture, and that's the thing that I grapple with. And that is the thing that created the Bronx Academy of Arts and Dance, along with my partner, Charles Rice Gonzalez, back in 1999 is what we're giving it. Welcome. Thank you. Let's see. Shall we, how do we begin? We're intimate. What's the protocol?
Muchas gracias, bueno, pues nada, como saben, pues soy Alexandra Pagán, coordino estudios de mujer y género. Thank you for being here. I'm going to speak in Spanish because it's so easy for me to speak in my language. Y nada, quería dar como que un poco de trasfondo, porque Estudios de Mujer y Género se destaca y se reconoce como una concentración que desde sus inicios, ¿verdad?, fue que construyendo y fue creando unos lazos con el performance. Y entonces, en lo particular, quería destacar un proyecto que precisamente quien ¿verdad?, lo diseña es Arnaldo Rodríguez Baad, quien tenemos aquí con su coordinado con su chaqueta y el celular y los tenis. Bueno, ok, sin ánimos de verdad que me pongo nerviosa y me da por hacer chistes. Pero bueno, concretamente el Foro Permanente de Performance lo idea Arnaldo en el 2013 dentro, ¿verdad?, de la concentración que en ese momento era el programa de estudios de mujer y género. Y entonces estuvo, ¿verdad?, en funcionamiento y estuvo operando hasta el 2015 y gestionó distintos programas en los que artistas participaron a través de paneles, talleres, hubo un seminario de investigación y ese seminario pues generó pues una serie de conversaciones. A mí me parece que fue para mí fundamental como una persona que no soy de ese espacio para conocerlo. Así que algo que estaba destacando Viveca Vázquez, a quien tenemos aquí, y que fue la creadora en conjunto con Mara Negrón, que es para mí, ¿verdad?, alguien bien importante en estudios de mujer y género. Viveca fue la persona que creó, que diseñó el curso de género y performance. Y entonces precisamente pues uno de los valores que destaca Viveca es cómo toda esta actividad permite, ¿verdad?, esa divulgación de lo que es la performance en Puerto Rico. ¿Verdad? Yo que vuelvo y digo, no soy de ese espacio, pues me acerco precisamente gracias a todas esas actividades que se gestaban y es una, no sé, yo lo veo como diantre, la posibilidad de ser, la posibilidad de gestar, la posibilidad de hacer estas búsquedas a través del movimiento. Eso para mí era maravilloso porque pues mi búsqueda es la poesía y de momento ver que se puede hacer poesía con el movimiento y se pueden provocar unas sensaciones a través del movimiento y eso que en un momento uno puede pensarlo como errático, de momento tiene estos espacios que son súper comunicativos y restauradores. Nada, no sigo por ahí. Pero sí que eso tiene un gran valor. El cómo gestar este tipo de proyectos lo visibiliza y sirve no solamente como un espacio de gestión, sino como un espacio de divulgación. Bueno, y entonces esa primera activación del foro concluyó con una exhibición que se tituló Área de Ensayo, que fue en el 2015 y fue tras escena del Anfiteatro 1. Yo creo que tal vez en la charla podríamos abundar sobre eso, donde se documentaba algunos de los eventos más importantes de la performance presentados en y fuera del recinto. De allí, pues también tenemos el documental Rompeformas, en el cual, ¿verdad?, fue una gestión de Viveca Vázquez y Merian Soto, que tenemos aquí también para ellas maestras de la performance. Y wow, si no han visto ese documental, pues tienen que de alguna manera buscar y verlo, porque para mí es también bien importante, bien significativo, y qué bueno que existe esa documentación. Y entonces, pues de allí, de ese documental, surge lo que hoy estamos ¿verdad?, participando, que es la Escuelita Fenomenal de Rompeformas. Y tenemos pues con nosotros a Arturo Avilés. No sé si tú lo vas a presentar, Viveca, pero antes de eso, pues nada, quería señalar que Estudios de Mujer y Género pues precisamente se destaca por ese carácter multidisciplinario, y a lo largo del tiempo, ¿verdad?, de los inicios, yo diría, pero hemos contado con profesores como Viveca Vázquez, Awilda Rodríguez Lora, Noemí Segarra, Pepe Álvarez, actualmente pues su profesora Lidia Platón, entre muchos otros. Y pues estos, ¿verdad?, han ofrecido cursos que exploran la performance desde lo teórico a lo práctico, y pues han difundido, ¿verdad?, la performance como una búsqueda y una práctica artística. Y entonces eso yo lo quería decir, que espero y esperamos, ¿verdad?, que estas generosas como estas nos permitan retomar esos espacios y prácticas de la performance mediante una oferta de cursos constante y nutrida que reactive el foro, porque eso es lo que queremos, que se reactive ese foro permanente. Así que muchas gracias. Thank you very much, Arthur. Now Viveca is going to present el protocolo. Hola. Okay. Arthur Avilés es un bailarín puertorriqueño queer que vive en el Bronx, Nueva York. Avilés es públicamente gay, como lo ha indicado en entrevistas y lo muestra en sus coreografías. Fue miembro del B.T. Jones Army Rain Dance Company de 1987 a 1995. Posteriormente formó Arthur Avilés Typical Theater, una compañía de danza con sede en el Bronx que busca crear trabajos que jueguen con los márgenes de las culturas latino y gay. La compañía tiene su sede en el Bronx, en el Baad, que es el tema central de la charla que les trajo Arthur hoy. Y entonces yo quería compartir con ustedes que yo conozco a Arthur vía Merian Soto, su colega, querida amiga, y nosotros hicimos un festival aquí que se llamó Rompeforma, un festival de arte experimental que se presentó del 89 al 96 y trajo a Puerto Rico un sinnúmero de artistas latinoamericanos que trabajaban en la disciplina experimental, latinos ubicados precisamente, básicamente en Nueva York, pero también en otras ciudades de Estados Unidos. Y ahí es mi contacto con Arthur cuando hacemos el Rompeforma del año, creo que 96, no me acuerdo cuál, que le tocó la ronda a Arthur venir a Puerto Rico. Entonces, como después yo di este curso de género y performance y tuve que estudiar mucha teoría para poder abordar el tema con propiedad con los estudiantes, Arthur menciona el libro de Ramón Rivera Cervera, que para mí fue una biblia para yo poder conducirme teóricamente con estos temas con los estudiantes, y les voy a leer una cita que pienso que es fundamental para lo que Arthur hace. Dice: "What Avilés so masterfully performs in his work is also a collectivizing of the process of homemaking by extending the process beyond the biography or representation of a single cultural worker and into a participatory engagement with dance for all involved, either as artistic collaborators or as audiences. In performance, as a commitment to sharing time and space, participants, all of us, temporarily become familia." A lo Cheo Feliciano. Así es que un aplauso a Arthur. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate it. Marian and Viveka took me out of my 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 cave up in the Bronx, so I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for allowing me to see if I can present who it is that or what it is that I've done in the Bronx. So this is a little PowerPoint presentation. So let's see. How do I begin? My name is Arthur Aviles. I am a New York Rican. That's what I am. And I create works that are what I feel are empowering to women, people of color, and the LGBTQ plus communities. I call them different communities because they deserve the respect of each one of their places as we bring all of those communities together at our space. So I created the Bronx Academy of Arts and Dance in 1999, and along with writer and activist Charles Rice Gonzalez, who is a really wonderful executive director at the Point. I'm the artistic director. And so, speaking of home, I wanted to show you a video of what it is that we're talking about in the town that I live in, which is Hunts Point section of the South Bronx. So. thank you so much. So yeah, that was a video that was made almost 10 years ago, and so the community continues to thrive in its own way, and our space continues to move forward. So it started off with my dance company called Arthur Avila's Typical Theater, and it was a joke. It was supposed to have been like typical in Spanish is típico, right? And típico is the very thing that you're pointing at, the very essence of the thing. And in English, it's very mundane. It's a very mundane concept. So I thought that I would play with the two, weighing them out, and so I call it typical theater. So it's my dance company, and it was in the American Banknote Building, which is what people call the Penny Factory, that was built in 1911 in the Hunts Point section of the South Bronx. It used to make currency for South America, and then it changed in 1985 and went out of business, and then turned into an apparels factory where lots of South American women were at the sewing machine sewing out collars and things like that. My mother's a seamstress, so sometimes she would get big bundles of bags with collars in them, and she would sew the collars, not for the American Banknote Building, but in her own right. So this is the inside of the space. It's called Baad, Bronx Academy of Arts and Dance, and this is the second floor of the warehouse. The windows are busted, the floor is concrete, and the space was unused since the 1980s. And so Charles Rice and there's Charles Rice Gonzalez, borrowed stuff from all the way around the block. We called the space a Cinderella space, where we would borrow a speaker from the person on the corner. We would borrow a floor from another person who lived around the block. We borrowed the floor from the dance company that I came from, Bill T. Jones Arnie Zane Dance Company, and they gave us that floor. But when the performances were over, everything had to go fly back home, and it turned into this performance space. So this is my company. We made sure we were outside. I think that that's our political act, actually, is that we stayed visible to the people around the block. And so, of course, they think that, we're the queer nuts around the corner, but we persevered. We continued to stay strong. These are the four founders, basically. This is my cousin, Elizabeth Macha Marrero is her name, and she's a drag king, and she does many different characters in her life. And then this is Cassandra, who is a sculptor and translates for indigenous people for the UN and helps them to win their land back. And she's also a sculptor. And then there's Charles Rice Gonzalez, who is the writer, and myself. And so we call it our home. It's home of my dance company. And this is our mission statement. That is a space that presents works that we feel are empowering to women, people of color, and the LGBTQ plus communities. And that's really important to us. So some people would say that that's a social justice mission statement. And so before, things were very different than they are today in the way in which we take into consideration the disenfranchised. We were doing this back in 1999 and really defying both institutions that say one institution being art, the institution of art, feeling that's not an art statement, and then the institution of social justice, who says that's not a social justice organization. So in our beginning years, it was really tough for us to garner support from one place or another. But we stayed strong and had continued to have tiny audiences and continued to create performances in our space up until this moment now, where politics and political relationship to gender and to who we are as social justice warriors came into play. So here we are, and we're continuing with that mission statement. So a really wonderful activist, Frida Rosen, said, "Build a stage, your community, and let your community shine on it." So we have 5 festivals a year. This is one. It's the Black Latinx Performance Series. It was Black Latino, Black Latina, Black Latinat, Black Latine. We had them all. Every festival you could think of. And this year it's Black Latinx. So we're trying to keep our ear to the ground and listen to our community and how it is that our community wants to be represented, and that's important to us. So that's the Black Latinx Performance Series. So then we have the Badass Women Festival, and that's a festival in March, and it's basically what, the title says it is, Badass Women. Charles and I are gay, and we thought about this festival in its very beginning years, and we wanted to call it Bad Girls. And Bad Girls is really like a gay boy's idea of what the festival could be. So the two women with us, Macha and Cassandra, said to, first of all, I'm no girl, so that was coming up. And then they said that they were badass women. So we said, okay, so this is what the event's going to be. And I said to them that when the Badass Women Festival is presented, I'd like not to be there because I want the women to have the space. And the two women in our lives said, no, you should be there. You should be producing it. You should be putting it up. You should be supporting this endeavor. So Charles and I, to this day, continue to support and present works at the Badass Women Festival of badass women. So that's important to us. Not us. We're not presenting. So then there's the Boogie Down Dance Series, and it's artists that are local, artists that are international who come to this series and perform inside of it. And then we have Out Like That, which is our gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual, two-spirited, in the life, queer, questioning, curious, gender nonconforming, gender conforming, pre-op, post-op. And if we have any more, bring them to our stage because that's important to us. We're always kind of like listening. It's like, who's going to identify differently next? And we want to hear those voices. So those voices are important to us. So that's our Out Like That. And as you can see, we call it Out Like That, which means that you represent who it is that you are, meaning that you get to tell us who you are out loud, not in a closeted, somewhere in a closet. I say, take the title, write it down on a piece of paper, read it, talk to us about it, and then take that title and rip it up, and then throw it up into the air and let it fall like confetti all over yourself so that you're celebrating, supporting who it is that you are in the world. So that's the Out Like That festival. We've got Get Tough, Get Bad, which was unfortunately inspired by a gay bashing that happened in the Bronx. And it was important for us to, so this is the mission statement is fictional films that depict the queer people of color ultimately in optimistic ways. I know that's like a huge title, right? But it really points to something very specific, and that is a group of people who want to see life in relationship to joy from that point of view. And so we show movies that really, in the end, depict the LGBT community ultimately in optimistic ways. So those are not easy movies to find, by the way, which is really amazing. And especially in America, they're very difficult to find. And movies in America, when they're about queer people, and particularly queer people of color, always end off really badly. But we have been able to find movies mostly in other countries that would depict this community in optimistic ways. Isn't that wild? So, but we play them. So, this is Los Nutcrackers, a Christmas Carajo, and this is Charles Rice Gonzalez's play. We put it on every year. We're in our 21st year, and it's played by 5 guys who play men and women, and they put on a show. So basically, it's like not like the Nutcracker. It's more like the Christmas Carol, where 2 men are grappling with their relationship in the South Bronx. And so we give that to our community. Do you know like this food called asopao? Am I saying that correctly? Okay. So yeah, that's what Charles makes it, and he makes a coquito, and that's like spiked um, eggnog, right? So eggnog but spiked. It's better than eggnog. They're a big coconut eggnog, and it's like huge contests are done with the coquille, and Charles is really good at it. So every year we have this play. So that's Los Nutcrackers. And he also wrote a play called I Just Love Andy Gibb, where he's grappling with race and Latino culture. So this is a dance piece of mine called Morning Dance, and this is Hunter Sturgis, who will be performing on Friday, and you will see him actually in this dance piece. And that's one of my dance pieces that was filmed in Hunts Point section of the South Bronx. Climbing Poetry, these are the different artists that we present at Baad. This is Carmelita Tropicana. We know her, right? She's like an incredible comedian. She's been around, and she's been affiliated with our space for many years. And this is one of my works. It's called Dorothy's Journey. It's called Super Maeva de Oz, where it's about a Puerto Rican ghetto matriarch who is grappling with her sexuality. And in the end, as the Wizard of Oz happens, she comes out of the closet, and that's that. This is Denise Oliver and Edith Morales. Yeah, do you know of her? Yeah, you know of them. And one is the Panthers, the Black Panthers, and the other is the Young Lords. Yeah, and basically they came to us saying that we'd like to figure out how it is that we can present the understanding that women were also a part of the development of these huge social justice organizations. And so they came to our space, and they were phenomenal inside of it. This is our new space. There it is. It's a Gothic revivalist building with a 19th century graveyard surrounding it. Yeah, and it's on the property of an Episcopal church, St. Peter's Church. And, before we moved in there, I wanted to show them who it is that we are and what we do. And so I presented my most visceral dance piece, which is 2 naked men kissing and dancing together. And when the mother Jody, that's pretty radical too, that it is a mother that is the pastor, the head pastor of the church, she said, if this is not the most amazing thing, we, 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 we embrace you with open arms. And we were just we were so proud of that. And so we rent from them, but that's pretty much it. Otherwise, we're autonomous. And we do things that go out on the limb on many times. So this is it. That's it. Gothic Revivalist Building. This is Cherie Moraga, who is an incredible poet and social justice warrior. And these are performers from the area. This is we were honored to have Medi and Soto come to our space and create these workshops around branch dances, it was called, and it was illuminating for our community to be a part of that. Branch dances, it's incredible performances that were done at that time. So this was my dance company. It's a pickup company, as you can imagine, and these are people from the community who performed in a park. There was a New York Times article on when we had to move from the Hunts Point section of the South Bronx to the Northeast section of the Bronx. It's about gentrification, you know, it's about uh, artists moving into a space and acquiring attention from developers. That is what happened with us. We moved into a warehouse. The developers found out about it and said, this is wonderful. And so before conditions got worse, we had to move. And so we did, and that was important to us because we love the space that we're at right now. Got to make it work, right? More artists in our space. This is Barbara Herr, who is a really wonderful cabaret artist, and more artists. This is Okwi Okopokwasili, who graduated in the building that we are in. So we were proud to have had her come to our space. So the Bad Muse, let's see. The Bad Muse is it is this artist in residence program that embraces artists who inspire us. And so we have Nigel Whitson, who is a part of that incredible performer, Philippe Condesquieu, Nelida Tirado, who is a Puerto Rican flamenco dancer and salsa dancer, and she's phenomenal. There's Antonio Ramos, who's a really wonderful performer. We know Antonio constantly comes to Bad, and the last performance Antonio had, he had these leeches on his body. And so he was doing rituals, some really like phenomenal rituals in our space, and he continues to do that. So we're proud to have Antonio in our space. Jonathan Gonzalez, the Dominican-born, Dominican-raised Latino. And then we have Alethea Pace, who is South Bronx raised, and Hunter Sturgis, who comes from a very similar background that I do, where his parents moved from Mexico and they came into the United States and they pushed him out of the culture. And so he also speaks English, but he grapples with his culture also, and he's creating really beautiful work. So he's one of our Bad Muses. And like I said, you'll see him perform on Friday if you're interested in coming. So let's see, we have the AATT Academy. This is an athletic dance program for 6 to 9-year-olds. I'm going to show you a little video from that. Here we go.
And I'm the Dance Education Coordinator for the AATT Academy. I'm super proud to be a part of this team, mainly because we're offering dance and high quality dance education to our Bronx youth. We have bomba, Puerto Rican folklore. We have hip hop. We have ballet and gymnastics on one. One of the things that I want to highlight is access and affordability. That's something that's not everywhere, especially in the boroughs. So we're pointing to youth the type of youth that we have here, and that they have to offer us too, because they feel deprived, knowing how much salary they're surrounded by, but they don't have the space to really bring that or express that.
Okay. So that's the AATT Academy. So who knows Bronx Academy of Art? Might as well. What the heck? That's that guy there. And so that's the AATT Academy, and really it's an athletic dance program. And they're the kids hanging around, doing, like I said, capoeira. We're the first. We brag about being the first um, school for 6 to 9 year olds who teaches Vogue to the students, and that is continuous. So one of the things that we do at the AATT Academy is we have gender neutral instruction. What is that? What's gender neutral instruction? It's as we know in dance, there could be very gender oriented parts to the dancing, let's say like in ballet, in ballroom, and even in salsa, right? And there's a male and there's a female part. But there's also this thing called a leader and a follower, or there's a this and a that. When we present to the children, we ask our teachers to present in this kind of gender neutral way, like it's not about like the girls and the boys being separated. It's about the boys and the girls learning something for humanity. And so if there is a bow that goes like this, or if there's a bow that goes like this, then they both learn it. And we don't say to them, that's the way the girls do it and that's the way the boys do it. We say, there's this and there's that. When they get older and their parents start to like go, what's going on here? That then, that's their life and they could have that. We do not give them a choice as to whether it is that they could take, the male or the female, because we know that they're influenced by society as a whole, and they will pick the right answer because they must. So we take choice away from them in this instance. 6, 7, 8, and 9. Those are the ages, and in those ages, that they are the most adventurous group of people on earth, because they're allowed to be, right? We embrace, if they have good people around them, they will be embraced with whoever it is that they are, whoever it is that they want to be at that moment. So that's why, so sometimes we lose boys in particular. We do have 13 girls and 13 boys. It's really important for us to keep that parity together, because we need each other, right? The masculines and the feminines, we need each other. And then the non-gender conformers, right? We need them. And they're going to teach us, like, what it is the future is like. And that's exciting for me. So we want our young people to grow up in this way of feeling they have the ensalada. They got everything. And then when they grow up, they can make their own choices. Right now, we need to give you everything. So that's the AATT Academy. Then we have Courageous Conversations. This is, as it says, Strategies for Living and Loving in America. And basically, we put together social justice warriors and artists who practice in many different ways. And then we have them come together to speak of whatever, the political issues are of the day. So sometimes there's writers and painters, sometimes there's politicians with a dancer. It depends on what it's. Sometimes they could be two writers, but many different kinds of artists and social justice warriors come together in that. This one here is, let me put it so we can have it big. Well, this here is called Trans Visionaries, and it's a Bad on the Block initiative is what we call it. And basically, it presents transgender and gender nonconforming artists in the different restaurants in the South Bronx. Because we came from the South Bronx and we wanted to keep our thumbprint there in the place that we grew up. And so we present this group of performers in these places. So that's pretty much there. We have the LaBeijas, we have Barbara Herr, lots of different artists, more the Beja. So we have also the Queer Arts Exchange. There are many artists that come from all over the world that are a part of this, and we know this one right here, who's been a part of the Queer Arts Exchange, Ebony Maya. We're really proud to have brought him to to the Bronx from Puerto Rico. We think it was his first or second time in the Bronx. This is Maria Bauman Dance and many different artists that are coming through there. So here we are. This is the space that we're in. That's me. Charles put that up there because he has to show me. and and so Baad is in its 25th year, and I'll show you that little bit of a video there. It's in here somewhere. Let's see. Very, very short video, kind of speaking to us about who we are. Here it comes. Pretty much it. That's it. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much the deal. That's called the Bronx Academy of Arts and Dance up in the Bronx. So thank you very much. I really appreciate, yeah, your engagement. Thank you. So, did we want to have questions or hang out or relax? Or is something? Boom. Yeah. Okay. So I can sit right here, right? Is this good? Oh, this is good. Yeah. If we want to come on up and. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I mean, I do struggle with my culture, and I'm still figuring it out. Yeah.
I guess during the education, academy, I went to a local school on campus, and I just wanted to ask what your experience with that, if you wanted to expand on that in some way, if you want to give us other ages, maybe like going to that like pre-puberty moment where I feel like it's really important to like working on mindset and what's your vision for these kids or what do you want them to grow with that stage?
Yeah. It's really important that they have fun. It's really, we have to, when we're dealing with children this young, that their experience is joyful and is about joy rather than in this particular age group is the one that I picked. And so I couldn't get any past that though. I couldn't understand before that and I couldn't understand after that. But that I feel like I could understand. And so that's why they age out. And all I can do is hope that when they left, they had a good time. So if they enter a program that does have a certain amount of seriousness to it, that they would they would have more choice to figure out what it is that they would like to do within those programs. But as of now, we haven't really made that decision to go younger or older because we wanted to feel as if we have a focus and our focus is clear, that there's an adventurous group of young people who will experience. I mean, you saw what's up there. It's about 11 different genres, and you don't go deep into them. They just kind of get tapped on the shoulder, open the door, take a look inside of what this is. And they usually leave us, really happy and having a good time. But that's basically it. It's we have it 3 times a year. In the summer, it's an intensive, and in the spring, it's more after-school program. And right now, actually, we have an after-school program, and it's happening at this moment. There's also a thing that I work with them on in the very beginning. I call osmosis training. This is for, like I said, 6 to 9 year olds. And basically what it is they enter the room and they see me in my practice. I will be totally concentrated in what it is that I do, my swift flow practice of a technique that I created. And I'm totally internalized in the practice as they walk into the room. Now they could gravitate towards me if they want, and they're told it's okay if you want to go dance with Arthur, go dance. If you don't, there's books over here you can read. You can hang out on the parachutes. We have parachutes for them, and we have calming music in the air. And they come in, and and they do. They gravitate towards me. I don't speak to them too much. I just continue to involve myself in the practice of what it is that I do, and then they imitate. And then so imitate's one of the very first ways in which one can actually acquire something, especially in dance, because you have to see and experience the one doing it. So so they stay for a little while and then they leave, and it's okay at any time. I just want to put that in, that's another kind of initiative for 6 to 9 year olds. So you give them once again their freedom. You open them up because maybe after that moment, since they like dance, maybe the next step is to go deeper into the dance. So I haven't really gotten there yet, though. Yeah, yeah, thank you. Yeah, they're,
for them to essentially like remember that unread children way too like
yeah, they are great sponges. You know, they will take anything in. And if you take a step back and allow them to do that, to be, then they will be, and they will be happier because they could be mean. But I, but I do think that they don't go in that direction once you giving them the space.
and also they come from different cultures.
Yeah,
They come to this place to also deal with that
yeah, yeah,
these kind of limitations.
yeah. And then fascinatingly enough, once again, I do feel like to not give them choice was so important because we felt it opened up their minds up to have the other, not to not have the other. Like if you have five things, you say you're going to do all five. You're not going to do two of the ones that you like the best because, other things are going to challenge you. And then after that, when we're all done, you don't have to do those other three things because that's your choice at that point. So, yeah, working on that. Mm. Mm-hmm.
How sometimes you get the piece of a teacher's heart, but you don't actually listen to them, and
Mm-hmm.
also the weird thing at the end, including me, I know that I'm supposed to always listen.
Yeah.
And it is very important to have also those spaces and also see the information that you get in school, which most of the time is completely yeah,
Right.
and he doesn't think that something is for growth. He doesn't see something for that for those things. And when he makes that, I would say he knows how something feels and how that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Yeah, they're being influenced by society as a whole. And it's really up to us to protect them from society in a weird way and really allow them, at least for that moment, the space to be free. And when they have that moment, they will take that away with them, either put it in their pocket for later on, or give it to their families and have their families be a part of that. But I think that's important for them to have. Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah. 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 Okay, yeah, yeah, because I've been doing workshops in Swift Flow here through Miriam and Viveka, and they were kind enough to give me classes that I can teach my technique. And so basically, 30 years ago, when I was a part of Rompeforma, there was a piece that I did called El Alfabeto Español, and it was me grappling with my culture and my language. And I put it together in a very particular way with, I have to say it, with Bill T. Jones, who is the choreographer that I was with at that time. And it was the beginning of me trying to teach myself how it is that I danced. And so it was a seed of that. And I thought that was really important for me. And so when I came back this year, I decided to share that language all these, 30 years later, from the seed of El Alfabeto to, an actual language. So it's a technique, and it's 4 phases and 4 exercises. One of them is called the wave, waterfall into river, seaweed, and swami mami. And then there's octopus. So as you can see, they're inspired by nature mostly, and it's the way I feel I dance, which is I call swift flow. So it's a series of movements that brings one through the body from the back and the arms into horizontal space. So I've been teaching that here, and it's been wonderful. The students are really incredible, and I feel lucky to have that. So the question was, right, with the children and this technique, right? So they don't know what it is. Dance is wild, right? Because dance is abstract, and it doesn't matter what you do in dance; it's abstract. But then, of course, it has a meaning to it, and it's personal because it's all our own. Sometimes we have to explain what it is, meaning unless it looks like theater, and then you start to, be able to explain it by, who came over to who, what do they look like, all of those kinds of things. But so the children, so what we do with the children is, what does this look like? What does it feel like? Water, you know. We go through images like that. We go through like make believe you're swimming underwater. Now you become the water, and you start to play around with who it is that you are as water. Children will totally go down that lane. Their imaginations are amazing. So this one brings them in the direction of flow, and and you can hear it, like I said, seaweed. Imagine your seaweed. So your feet are in the ground, and those roots are in the ground, and the water is moving your back all around, and you are taking a look at the fish, taking a look at the whales, taking a look at, just having a good time. And sometimes school of fish, everybody moves together in different formations. So we play games. So as we do actually with these classes, we're playing games with the students. It's the way I feel best to teach it. And the children are great. They go crazy with the games. Sometimes it gets a little too out of hand because the seaweed is a kind of spiral in the back, so it's almost like a tornado. So when you put kids in a room and you're getting them to do like hurricanes and tornadoes, they're moving in circles. They're they're getting each other. So it's a lot of fun, yeah, to do that. Yeah. Oh, thank you. It was very organic the way it all happened. It really started from my dance company, and then I was thinking that I wanted to have a full-fledged dance company, and realized that I wanted to be in a place, and so that was important to me, and that I wanted community to be around. And so that was important to me. So all of it I consider my art, my choreography, even the curation of artists that come in, because I feel like I'm constantly listening to the artists and what it is that they do, and it inspires my work, and then my work inspires their work, and that feels to me as if it's the bigger picture of of the scene, rather than something very specific, like maybe a dance company. So it all inspires me, you know, from all the way around. 25 years, yeah. Mm-hmm, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Po- we have to batten down the hatches. Yeah, we really do have to make sure we're figuring out like what that next step could be. But at the moment, it really is about strengthening and and grounding what it is that we have been doing, because we do a lot and we realize that. And so we're not sure exactly what, you know, the political situation is going to bring to us, but we've done it before. You know, our beginnings were like that. So if we don't remember how we started this out, then we're not going to survive, because the beginning was very tough. You know, it was busted, you know, warehouse with pigeons flying all over the place. And so if we had to go back there, we know how we did it. And basically, it's keeping things simple. Yeah, the simplicity of it. Like me taking this thing away and being able to speak with you. It's what we try to do. Yeah. Um, yeah, it's hard to know. What is that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's an ebb and flow. It swiftly flows. Absolutely. It goes up and down. So, I don't know. It's a wish and a prayer. It's the way we've been doing it every time. We want to keep the space. Yeah, and we do. And yeah, it is important. People do come to the space. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it started with us just wanting a space, and then us wanting to be around community. I mean, it really is those simple little things that make something grow. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, just do it. Yeah, and you know what that's about. You remember those beginning days. That's right. I mean, incredible stuff with Bebatian. Yeah, it was through Bebatian that you invited me here, wasn't it? And you invited me before that, like way before that. You invited me to spaces in the city. Like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes, yes. Yeah. Yeah, and you said the word that's important to me, which is community, rather than now I'm going to get controversial, family. Family is family is complicated and it's difficult. Community is growing and powerful, whereas family, you have a place in it and you're supposed to do your role, and that's problematic. In community, it's just a bigger, wider concept of how it is that we can be together. And we have responsibility to each other, because sometimes when you're assigned a role, that that means that you don't have responsibility in other places. Whereas in community, you have responsibility everywhere. You should, the way in which we treat each other. It shouldn't be like your little sister, or it shouldn't be like your bigger brother having the power or something like that. It's so community is a very important word for me, and family can be really difficult. So we, have to be careful of it. Mm, wow, great question. Um, I would say it was probably Get Tough, Get Bad, which is our film series about ultimately depicting the LGBTQ plus communities in optimistic ways. That was the toughest one, because society still has to work on having our community, queer POC people, be in diverse situations. Yeah, we still have work to do there in that place. So that was the most difficult one. Not even out like that was difficult for us. I remember, we say empowering. See, Bad is a space that presents works that are empowering to women, people of color, and the LGBTQ plus communities. It doesn't mean that those people have to create the works. It could be other kinds of people who create works that are empowering to this community. And that's really important to us. One, very simple example is a straight guy came up to me and he says, "Oh, I'd love to do some, dance here." I said, "Great. We have our Out Like That festival coming up. Are you interested?" And he was like, "Oh, yeah. I have this duet between this man and this woman. I could put two guys in the duet." And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. Hey, if that's your response, here it is. You're going to like play a game with us in who it is that we are." And we kind of accept a little bit, So in whatever way is possible for people to feel as if what they're doing is the right thing, and in that case, empowering works, then we're down. Yeah. Well, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. That's where we are right now. We're in a place of opening up, and we must be. I mean, as things are closing down, as you can see, I mean, just what happened with the government just recently is just like amazing, isn't it? And so we have to stay as strong as possible in that act of opening, continuing to open up, because we're smarter than we ever were. We've come down the line. There's lots of people who have given us examples of what it could be, and it's up to us to just kind of like take the next step. you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
corriendo